1320 WILS Morning Wake Up.
We're going to gavel in the courtroom of common sense and uncommon virtues in our society now while we welcome in attorney Shaun Naidoo. Once again, Shaun, good morning. Welcome back.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you joining us. In the state of Maine, they call it vacation land. That's us in Michigan. But anyway, the faux vacation land. Their attorney general says there's a town in Maine called Kittery, and the town of Kittery had a business lottery for the product of marijuana. The question is, by holding a lottery here to get marijuana shop licenses, apparently they only want to have so many, and there was too many, and so they had it. Was that gambling? Was it something improper, illegal? What did the AG say in the state of Maine?
Well, the AG in this state held that it wasn't gambling, and what it was a lottery to try to obtain the place to get the license, because the top three people were guaranteed to get a license to sell marijuana. So they were charging $750 per ticket. So instead of $1, like you would see in the traditional lottery, it was $750 to get your name, your business name in the lottery to try to get a position to get a license.
Well, here's my question for you, Shaun. If you didn't get picked, did you get your money back? If I go play the lottery today and I don't win, I don't get my money back. That's called gambling. I took a chance. Now, did the people get their money back? Because if they didn't get their money back, that is gambling to me, in a sense.
Well, in this one, they didn't get their money back either because it went to a general fund for the city, for the municipality. And so, no, they did not get their money back. That was the risk of trying to get a
gambling. But that is gambling, isn't it?
I mean, when you look at it that way, yeah, I think it has the form of gambling in that way, or it could be the cost of doing business as well. Maybe you look at it that way, but if you look at it in the traditional sense, I think it sounds and smells like gambling to me.
But I mean, if I apply for a business license and I want to open up a business, I don't get told, yeah, you don't get your license, but we are keeping your money. I mean, that doesn't make if 20 people sign up to get one of 3 business licenses here to sell marijuana, and everybody puts up $750, that does mean the ones that win, they gambled and they won, and the other ones gambled and they lost. I mean, theoretically, you could set up as a municipality. This could be quite a scam if you wanted to do it that way. Maybe scam's the wrong word.
Agree. I mean, I would agree with you because, I mean, in this case, too, I mean, the person that won it, I think, had 15 entries, and the second place person had 12 entries. And that was one of the arguments, too, was, that people that, were wealthier could, pay,
Yeah, they're trying to put their finger on the scale, right? But
that's correct.
More chances to win. Come on. And the Attorney General said that really, I mean, okay. Do you think every state would handle it the same way? Because I don't.
A little bit more. Yeah, I think if they pressed it a little bit more, I think that it would be overturned. But, it never went to court. It was just the Attorney General making their opinion on the case.
All right. 3 winners in Kittery, Maine had a chance to open up their pot shop, one in each part of town, and some bought more than one chance, quote, chance. But somehow this really wasn't unlawful gambling. It was just, a chance at a business license. That's just, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I'm not buying that at all. But I think some other states would look at that and say, no way. All right. Now, this is weird, too. All right. This is at Austin Peay University. And at Austin Peay, students were required to pay, Shaun, $5 to be allowed to vote in a student government election. Okay, so some are calling this a poll tax, but because this isn't a general election covered by like a Secretary of State or a federal election, because it's at a university, and I would say this is kind of a closed system election, can they handle the rules the way they want? And are they subject to any rules for voting that would preclude such things as a poll or a fee tax? to vote? What say you? Legally.
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, when you read it on its face, it looks like, you know, that it's just part of the registration requirement. There's $800 like fees that you have to pay. But when they break down those fees, $5 of that fee is to the ability to vote in the student government.
Right.
So when you look at it more closely, I mean, to me, it looks like it is a poll tax, because if you don't pay that money, then you're not allowed to vote, and you're not allowed to run for, you know, student government office. So, you know, I think that if it was challenged, right now I don't see anybody challenging it or going to court. But if it did go to court, I do see how that they could perceive this and read it as if it was a poll tax, and if you didn't pay it, you couldn't vote. And poll taxes, you know, since 1964, you know, since the 24th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution has been struck down. So, you know, you're not allowed to do a poll tax to allow people to vote.
But if you're doing this in a system that isn't for, again, student government, like what if they were to say, okay, never mind this as a fee, but only students who are paid up in good order can vote. You may be a student, but if your bills and fees aren't paid up in timely order at the time of the election, you can't vote. Would that be a poll tax? Would that be a proper, you know, would that be a proper restriction? Because I think it's different than going. Go ahead.
Right, I think that would be a proper restriction on that. And if you kind of equate it to like voting, like if you know, commit a crime, or, you know, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you know, there are certain restrictions that you could place, you know, on your ability to vote. So I think that if you're not in good standing, those type of things, I think that would, you know, equate to the same way. So I wouldn't think that would be a poll tax. I think the poll tax is when you're requiring a monetary amount in order to be able to vote. Now, you know, the fees and all of that stuff of tuition, that's something separate, in my opinion. I don't think that would be considered a poll tax.
Is anybody pushing this in court right now, or is it just something that got some news attention but not necessarily going down the route of legal or litigation?
Yeah, it's just getting some attention right now. I haven't seen any lawsuits filed on it.
Yeah.
And according to, you know, what I've researched and found out too, you know, there's not a lot of other universities that are doing this. It seems like this may be, you know, one of the first that are doing it. So, you know, you may see some litigation in the future.
See, Shaun, I would say none that we know of, but like it took somebody breaking down that campus fee number to kind of itemize and then find it. You'd be surprised what you find when you itemize things, right? You'd be surprised.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, it's different when it's a lump sum and you're just like, okay, I'll pay it. But what is that really getting me? Well, you get you this. Wait a minute, you can't charge me for that. Not to vote. See, that's different. Shaun Naidoo, attorney at law. I appreciate you coming on, Shaun. Thank you, sir. Take care. Stay safe, all right? All right, you too.